what recommendation would you want to make as you're getting started? Are you facing anything that you want to get started? Maybe the awareness side of it, something that you would like to mention.
Largely from the limited time I've spent in this system so far, I've seen businesses being very open to trying models which can add to the success of everybody. And it gets us a little excited from the learning and development standpoint, because it's an avenue to try a new learning model and then take that up as a challenge to see how can we really make that success. So, Sumit, as much as we speak about the ROI and the compliance and the whatnots, which is the technicality of this sort of a program, the merit of the program is always going to be how do you take raw talent and convert it into skilled talent. So, and that's the lens I always look at these things from. So there is one aspect which is, the compliance, and that's why I didn't speak about it, because that's a technicality of it. Anything of this sort, when you engage into something. So there are experts like you who sit there who take care of the conveniences and how convenient and how easy can we make this for the organization as well. But for me, the lens I will always look at it from is that how do I take raw, unskilled talent and convert it into skilled talent and possibly have a career path, because that's what will define success from an L&D standpoint. The compliance of it for me is not going to define my success. The ROI is not going to define my success at stage one. Is how beautifully can I incubate it and what can I really deliver for the business and the rest of my stakeholders, including the apprentice, is what is going to define success for me. So my lens, unfortunately, fortunately, Sumit, is always going to be that what kind of a learning journey and what are the pains that you're really taking to make the needle move from point A to point B for the organization, for the apprentice, and for the ecosystem at large, really. The rest will take care of itself, thanks to you all.
No, definitely. I think apprenticeship needs to be viewed from multiple lenses. One definitely has to be from the L&D, and that has to be the primary lens to view that it is a learning model. It is how do you create talent. But at the same time, what we say, that can you also have a business view to it as well, because what's in for an organization, what are the kind of returns that they could get? And we're not talking just about the tangible risk, and there's certain intangible benefits in terms of the loyalty. Both of them spoke about the attrition aspect of it. How do you maintain that the engagement, that belongingness? How do you create talent and how do you give back to the society? I think those are some of the benefits that you could possibly look at. And lastly is definitely the compliances. So the three different views, many reasons for organizations to get started, because so I think there's a lot for any organization to engage with apprenticeship. Thank you so much, all of you, to share your views, your experiences. I think it was fascinating to hear them, and I'm sure we've done some justice, to as we get other organizations to. We'll take the message to them, and we can motivate them to get started on apprenticeship. What we'll now do is we'll quickly take some of the questions. We've got exactly 10 minutes with us. So there's a question for you, Gautam. It says that in which job roles do you deploy apprentices?
Okay, so for us, it was in our retail store and our warehouse and the logistics.
Okay, great. The questions which are coming in on degree apprenticeships: do you feel degree apprenticeship program will reduce attrition and attract talent? There's another one which says that in the experiential learning framework, how important it is the degree embedded apprenticeship program connectivity for ensuring productivity and long-term employee engagement. So yeah, there's a whole concept of now degree apprenticeship where we're trying to see that how do we blend skilling with the mainstream education, and the skilling, can that be work integrated programs? In fact, I was just reading a story. Any thoughts on degree apprenticeship, on this partnership?
Clearly, the last word on programs and models on things like these is not out yet. I think there is so much innovation that this will go through as time progresses, right? Because in India, like you said, there are only 35,000 organizations which are today leveraging programs such as this. So whether whether a degree-based program is going to help or it's not, a short answer is yes. The long answer could be very different, because we are driven as a country, we're driven by that hard certificate of a degree, right? And most of the times we're pursuing that degree and we're not pursuing that knowledge. So if you can add that in and if you can blend that in, of course, it's cherry on the cake, really. So short answer is yes, it does add more value.
Sure. Okay. What about you, Gautam and Bapuji? Do you think that academia and industry partnership would work for the work integrated programs? You can build your supply chain, prepare your talent through this particular partnership?
Yeah, it does work, Sumit, but there are two streams. One relatively less skilled and or semi-skilled, the other is skilled. So whenever we try these long tenure models like degree or certification, some of the roles which are short tenured or maybe fluctuating requirements. So the stickiness is little difficult there because we don't need them after the peak period. So we may have to discontinue. But there are certain roles like somebody like reach truck operator or battery operator, truck operator, highly skilled roles. So these roles take about 1 to 1.5 years to become proficient, and maybe another 1.5 years to do his role in that capacity. So we get a term of about 3 to 4 years. So those are the roles it is relatively comfortable to program it as a part of degree apprentice and longer tenure, and then eventually it becomes a fully certified degree holder and a maybe role discharger. So not for all roles, but certain roles surely possible.
Sure, possible. Okay. Gautam, your take.
No, I already said that yes, there is definitely a great opportunity in basically collaboration between academia and the organization. And yes, it has to be very well thought and also ensure that rather than it becoming a burden for the students, additional burden, how can we ensure that it basically becomes a part of their learning journey, right? So it has to be very well thought through, but till the time it definitely makes merit and gives the advantage to student freshers, which are more, so that can become a quick fix where the set of talent can fix. Definitely, I am looking at to expand this model in many ways. I'm just looking at my captive center, as I mentioned. I would definitely like to explore that as a model there too. But again, we all have to look at the existing talent pool and what kind of talent we do receive from the market. But definitely, there is initially you can start with the lower level.
Sure. Adetya, what's your take on this? I mean, what are the job roles do you think it could work well, specifically from the BFSI sector?
Really, I mean, the answer is, of course, sales, customer service, and collection. But I'm saying, why stop there? You could have basic IT support roles where, very smoothly be incorporated in. But to second Gautam, all entry-level roles, which do not require over and above a certain skill, they are completely accessible and open.
So what both of you are suggesting is that it's any role. It's not that any sector agnostic, or it just has to be the entry level. It could be any role. Bapuji, what's your take? What's your take on this?
Yeah. It can take multiple roles, multiple functions, multiple sectors. We do it in very different divisions within our company, and it's quite possible to open up this opportunity across the spectrum. And many times it'll be caught by surprise. Some of the places where we didn't anticipate might click. So that's what happened to us in many places. So we've opened it for all types of subdivisions, and in some places it is doing extremely well and others are catching up. It is basically mind shift change, and then maybe early adopters, and then maybe others will also catch up.
Very valid point, Bapuji. In fact, it's not that if there's any job role where apprenticeship is not done, doesn't mean that it cannot be done.